Well, if you just want the short answer, since I started this YouTube journey, my girlfriend broke up with me, and with the dog. I don't think the dog chose to break up with me. My dad died. That's a bit more complicated. I obviously smashed my laptop and had to buy a new one on a credit card. I didn't have to, but you know I did. So that's a bit of a hit. Just entirely my own fault. Just a moment of stupidity. And I stepped in fox poo. I think it's fox poo last night. So I don't think that quite covers everything that's gone wrong, but it's probably a fairly good introduction. The longer answer is a bit more complicated than that, but before I go into that, let me just show you where I'm parked. This is the view. It's pretty incredible, isn't it? I've been here for a couple of days, and it's the first time I've slowed down a little bit to just reflect and think about, you know, everything that's happened. It's been pretty crazy. Right, so I'll go into it a little bit more. So my girlfriend broke up with me. Look, I'm not going to say too much about it. We've been together for 5 years. She is a truly wonderful person. She is a fantastic human being. Far too good for me, to be quite frank, which maybe she realised. Yeah, and these things happen. I won't hear a bad word about her, frankly. So yeah, that happened. I'm not going to go into that anymore. Yeah, and the dog, golden retriever. Yeah, I miss the dog to pieces, honestly. Yeah, it's a lot. Anyway, I'll move on. So my dad dying, that obviously sounds really dramatic, and I guess it is, but it's a little bit more complicated, I would say. I never really had a relationship with my father or my father's sort of side of the family. The first time I met him was at a funeral, and I didn't know who he was. It was a funeral of an old sort of family friend, I guess, and he just came up to me and said, "Oh, your dad's looking for you," and I assumed he meant like my stepdad or something, and I was pretty confused because obviously he drove me there, my stepdad. Anyway, it was pretty weird. And then yeah, I didn't really have any sort of significant relationship with him, which is why, you know, obviously you probably have a much better relationship with your father, I hope. And if that's the case and you were bumming around in Italy, you would probably get yourself back to the UK pretty quickly. But you know, look, it's probably really hard to explain to someone who does have a good relationship with their parents, but I just didn't. What's really kind of crazy though is to think about like losing a parent, even if you've only met them a few times and you don't really have a relationship with them. It's like that possibility of a relationship is now completely gone, and then you're left with a few questions which are like, you know, my mother hasn't changed her address for my entire life, right? So so there's, you know, ample opportunity to reach out, and it just never happened. And I didn't either, but I don't really feel like the onus is on me. So, and I guess it's also when you lose a parent, if you have, then it's kind of like, well, you're the next generation to go, right? And I don't want to sound too morbid. If you've lost a parent, I don't want you to start thinking like that. But yeah, so certainly a strange one. The laptop thing, I mean, look, it happened. It was really stupid. I just dropped my phone on my laptop, shattered the screen. And a lot of people would probably think, well, my laptop only cost £500. Why did you have to go and get such an expensive laptop to replace it? And the reason is editing like 4K videos, which is obviously what I was doing and what I wanted to continue doing. you do actually need a really powerful laptop or a desktop to do that. It takes a lot of horsepower from the computer, so I just sort of had to suck it up. When I get back to the UK, I'll get a job, and hopefully they'll pay me enough and I'll be able to pay off the credit card. Anyway, look, that's a moot point. Speaking of jobs, I mean, my first plan when I left the army wasn't to actually come out here and do this, right? I planned, well, I mean, I had loads of job interviews and I got to final interviews and all sorts. And yeah, just none of it came through. And when you leave the military, I will say there's like really excellent support and really excellent teams, and there's all of these different firms, depending on what you want to go and do, have military and veteran schemes, and that is what I targeted, to be fair. And I think, you know, possibly I was a bit overconfident that I was definitely going to get them. I didn't apply to enough jobs. I was given advice from my ex's dad, who was also in the army, to apply for more jobs. He was right. I was naive. I think I just thought, you know, I've got a good sort of service record, a good academic background. I can talk to people. I figured it would all work out, and it didn't. So I thought, screw it, I'll go on a road trip. You know, can't get any worse. And there we go. So why am I making this video? I don't really know. I think I've just had all of these thoughts in my head now for so long, and anyone who knows me in real life, knows me in person, will know I am not an expressive person. Okay, I probably come across relatively expressive on camera, but that's because you're seeing me like reacting to you know, a beautiful building or a mountain like the ones I'm in or something like that. And you know, of course, that's like cheap expression. That's easy because well, because it is, it's just easy. But yeah, I'm not really the kind of person to like dig into my emotions and feelings. I mean, even now I'm not doing it really. I'm just explaining to you what has happened. So yeah, but making the videos and having like complete strangers, some of the people who are commenting I actually, you know in person, but having some complete strangers to like interact with and just talk to has kind of made it a lot easier. I would say it's made it a lot better. But you know, one thing that hasn't gone wrong is, believe it or not, this girl, and I really hope I haven't just jinxed it, because that'll just be the straw that breaks the camel's back. But yeah, this thing hasn't gone wrong at all, and yeah, I'm actually really proud of it. I don't think, if this thing gets me all the way back to the UK, well, through a bit more of Europe and then all the way back to the UK, I don't think I'll ever be able to part with it. You know, I've formed like a bond with cars in the past, right? But it's different because I'm like living in this thing. This thing gives me like shelter, electricity. Hey, bugger off. It gets me from A to B, you know, it does everything. So sorry, I got a little bit distracted by a fly in my ear. So that's it though. It's just a really quick update from me, really only for like subscribers and people who've like followed the channel. It's not, you know, a video that's meant for everyone else out there, because why would you care what's going on with me if you haven't followed some of the journey so far? I'm inserting myself in here for an important message. As you can tell, I've shaved, so it's a bit later. That's not the message. I just, you know, I was thinking even more, and I was thinking about friends, and one thing I've been really quite bad at is letting some of my friendships lapse. And you know, I only really spoke to one person until I made this video about everything that's happened to me. It's one of my oldest friends, Casper, and we didn't even have like a super in-depth conversation. We just spoke about it, about all of the things I've just told you about. But the thing is, that's a friendship that I had kind of let lapse a little bit, you know. And I guess my message or my advice would be, don't. You know, if you've got good friends like that. I mean, Casper's a legend. I've known him for well over a decade, and he's more emotionally aware than me, more intelligent than me, more lots of things than me, and yeah, I think I'm just sort of, I feel very blessed that I was able to just reach out, kind of offload, and just talk about some of the things that were happening, and he was just there to listen. So, you know, that's just one example. You know, I've probably got loads of other friends who would do that for me somewhere. I don't know where they are, but I'm sure I've got loads of other friends who would do that for me. But yeah, I would just say, just keep your friends close, and, you know, reach out to them, and don't be like me, who I guess let some of those friendships lapse, you know. Yeah, and I've got a good video. I think it's a good video. It's a much longer video. It's taken quite a while to edit. A really absolute legend of a bloke, Leo, showed me through Florence, gave me like 6 hours of his day, brought me lunch. It's pretty incredible, honestly, and just showed me all of Florence. So I had an amazing day. That was, you know, half a week ago, no, almost a week ago now. So anyway, that's it. I feel a little bit better that I've got this off my chest. Will I upload it? Who knows? But sometimes it's quite cathartic and quite nice to just say things, you know, just get them off your chest. So cheers. Thanks for listening. If you skipped to the end, I don't know, go rewind, I guess.